What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Gene back with another YouTube video. This video is the neuroscience of flow state and peak performance with Dr. Niklas Hausler. So I'm guessing this guy is definitely German. Sorry for the ads in the previous video. I think it was only because I was on a different web browser than I normally am, that I'm normally on. So I'm gonna go ahead and waste no more time because this video is already 30 minutes long. Relax, Harry. Hold on. I'll get to you in a second. But without further ado, let's get started.
When I'm spitting, I'm insane with flames. Come on, yeah, you know I'm a game, my thing. I came to flame you rappers. I'm insane, make frames collapsing every time I'm spitting, cause I train my brain. So let's go. Hey, Niklas Hausler.
Hausler, my man Nick. All right, I'm gonna let you guys chop it up.
Yes.
Nick, make sure you turn on your camera.
Come in.
Nick Hausler, in the place to be.
What's up, Harry, man? How you doing?
I'm chilling. The doctor is in the building, folks. We are here. Show him some love, Twitch. Let's see some flames in the chat right now.
This is.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Yes.
Greetings from Germany. Hope you're doing well, Harry, man. I'm ready to listen to some awesome freestyles, man, that you got. It's gonna be sick.
Oh, it's gonna be incredible, man. I'm feeling great, man. We're super blessed to have you here, all the way from Germany, tapping in. It's an honor, man. Thank you for joining us.
Super happy to be here. Thanks, man. Thanks.
So you and I had the opportunity to talk on the phone, and I got to know you a little bit, and you know, specifically about the work that you're doing in neuroscience. But for the people who, you know, are watching this right now and are just meeting you now for the first time, go ahead and introduce yourself and talk to us a little bit about, you know, what work you do as a neuroscientist.
Yeah, what's up, guys? My name is Nick.
What's up, bro?
Formerly Dr. Niklas Hausler, which is a very German name, I guess. I have a PhD in neuroscience and, you know, I'm a psychologist, neuroscientist, because I love the brain. That's what I focus on. And that's why I contacted you, Harry, because I founded a startup in Germany called Neuro 11.
Right.
And what we do is, this is our logo right here, man, represent.
Yeah.
And what we focus on, is we train the brain of elite athletes. And I've worked with musicians here in Germany before to get into the optimal brain state. So flow is like a central theme to us. So when I listen to your freestyles, man, for me it was like, you know, like I called you before, man, you're the flow spreader, you know, you're the guy that knows how to get in the zone, how to spread it, you know, like to show people what it means to be in flow. And that's my focus, you know, to try to help athletes get into the zone so they know how to, you know, make those clutch three-pointers, to score those free kicks in soccer. So that's my main thing that I'm interested in.
100%, man. That's awesome. And I'm obviously somebody who's very obsessed with flow, right? On multiple levels. I mean, when we talk about rap, we talk about flow, right? Referring to, you know, the rhythm and the sound of the voice and sort of the inflection and the way that somebody flows over the beat. So you know, there's that tie-in obviously to what I do, but then also, you know, what you're referring to in terms of flow state, right? And sort of being able to enter that zone and sort of clear the mind. So for people watching who might not be familiar with flow state, what is that? You know, what are we talking about when you're talking about working with athletes on flow state? What exactly are you working with them to achieve?
Okay, so I think the way people see flow is very different when you know, like you'll call flow, but maybe your definition of flow is different than to, for example, a soccer player, you know, who's then like, you know, it's all about passing the ball, you know, in a certain rhythm and stuff like that, you know,
right,
to be in the zone with somebody else. But for me as a neuroscientist, flow means that you're in an optimal brain state. So let me give you an example. When you're sleeping, your brain frequency is very low, you know, you're super relaxed, or when you're super calm, you know, like super relaxed, you cannot perform very well because you're not actually mentally focused enough. And when you're over anxious or when you're over excited about something, you know, you also cannot perform very well because you're just like, you know, like you're about to give a talk and you're just like, man, like, you know, it's cool. Like you remember those times, right?
Of course.
So the optimal key right here is to get into the zone between being too intense and too relaxed. And we call that like it's a great mixture of being mentally focused and yet from a body point of view, you're very calm, you know, you're very relaxed. And I think that's what music does, man. That's what rap does. It gets you into that thing, you know, because you're all like, you know, relaxed. At the same time, you're focused because you want to deliver. Right. You have a certain thing to, you know, deliver to the people. And what I do, I put electrodes on people. I actually measure their brain frequency. And that's how they learn to get into that perfect state of mind, into that perfect brain state. And that's worldwide unique, man. That's like our attitude with Neuro 11 is to bring something like extremely new to the table that elite athletes can, profit from.
That's so dope. That's so dope. So you're actually able to look inside the brains, so to speak, of elite athletes when they're performing their like challenging tasks as athletes and see what's really going on inside their brains, right?
Exactly. So I can do it. I cannot do it while they're moving because that's just like not possible scientifically. But when they're still, so let's say you take elite rifle shooters, for example, right that moment before they pull the trigger, it's all about getting into the perfect state of mind. Or before you take a free kick in soccer, or before taking a 3-pointer in basketball.
Right.
That's exactly when you want to get into that perfect state of mind. You don't want to think about what you're going to have for dinner. You don't want to think about your dad dying 2 years ago or something, because that's just going to like take your thoughts away. You're going to think about it too much. At the same time, man, like if you haven't slept well and you're too tired, it's so much harder for you to get into the zone, to get into flow. So you want to get that, to hit that sweet spot. And I know that's what you're, man. That's like what you're constantly achieving. And I think you have a special talent for it, man. Like that's your biggest gift, in my opinion.
I appreciate that, man. Coming from you, a true flow state expert, it really means a lot, and I appreciate it. And, I will say I'm always striving to achieve that flow state, right? And on certain occasions I'm more successful. On other occasions, sometimes I feel like I don't quite get there, right? And so, I have found for me, right, that when I really feel like, okay, this is important, Harry, you have to do good. Right? When I have that type of thought, like, this is a big one. Going to freestyle next to Kendrick Lamar, for example, right? And you start, thinking, oh, God, like, this is, this guy's one of my idols. Like, this guy's my hero. He's a legend. I have to kill it. And I found that in situations where I'm saying that to myself, right, you have to kill it. In other words, when I'm trying really hard to do well, it's actually more difficult for me to enter that flow state. And strangely enough, it almost feels like, if I don't care, right? Like if I decide, well, it's okay, hey, if I do a mediocre job today, so be it. Paradoxically, I end up doing better, right? Is that something that you found in your studies as well, that you kind of almost have to decide not to care quite as much in order to do your best?
Yeah, but that's like your personality, man. Like it can be different. Like I always see people like that are too eager. Like, I think we're in that aspect, we're pretty similar. We overthink things. We're too excited about things, but you'll see people that are too relaxed as well. So those kind of athletes, I have to actually pump up a bit. They have to understand what is the meaning of the thing that we're doing right now. But for you, like to give you actually a training example for us, like if I live in LA and we work together, I'd train with you that you learn what it means to be in the perfect state of mind. And next time you meet Kendrick or you meet somebody famous or before you go on stage, you know exactly, like you have the techniques to bring you down, to calm you down. So for example, meditation would help somebody like you to really, find your inner self before you go out there, and you have to deliver on something that's extremely important to you, right? Because that's like, man, that's what the best of the best do, right? They're able to deliver when it really matters. And they do that because they have this crazy confidence in themselves, and that's how they stay calm, That's how they get into that state.
That's awesome. No, that makes a lot of sense. It's that sweet spot. You can't be too chill about it. You have to recognize that it's an important moment, but not overthink it and then talk yourself down.
Exactly.
Question. So you're obviously very involved, in the scientific aspects of flow state, right? With a neuroscience background. But there's also kind of like a spiritual component to flow state for some people, certainly, right? In terms of meditation and, mindfulness and breath control and things like that. I'm curious, do you, take interest in that spiritual side? Do you meditate or is that something that has played a role in your studies, or are you more focused primarily on, the brain science behind it?
No, man, like I've come to learn, like, that's the funny thing. Like, I'm not the super nerd, when it comes to that. Like, I don't just see the science of it. I do believe that there's, some people, even if they believe in things that are good for them, they should do it no matter what.
Right.
I meditate myself as well. That's what I work with players. I teach them how to meditate. Especially, for people that are overthinking before practice, before big games, young talents, who are, they're just too excited about the moment. And I what's interesting is for meditation, for example, there's the neuroscientific literature on it is very clear that it has a great benefit, and it should be done by more people out there, man. Like, it's something positive. You can take like no damage of it. Honestly, everybody in this chat, I can 100% recommend it. It decreases your stress level, your cortisol levels. You should take a look at the scientific literature. It's just amazing. Everybody should do it. And it's something great that, yes, it comes from a spiritual world. Let's just call it that way.
Right.
But it definitely has its place even in our Western society. And we should be open for it. And I think we should do it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from the doctor himself.
Do it.
Yeah, I've been getting into meditation more and more lately for these same reasons that we're talking about, you know, for trying to become more efficient at achieving flow state and trying to sort of understand what it means to be in flow on a deeper level. So I love that. Nick, you've had the opportunity to work directly with some of the most celebrated sports coaches in the world.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit? Who have you worked with, and what were those experiences like? And what did they find so valuable about what you're offering?
I think, I mean, I've worked with a few. I don't want to pull out too many names and stuff, but it's like
no, but people need to
in the
hear,
Premier
man.
League, what's that?
Oh, people want to hear, man. Go ahead. Tell us who you worked with.
I've worked with let's just say some of the most famous German football coaches in the world, some of the best, and the thing that they really see is, or the number one thing that they really see is that the ability to measure whatever we talk about. There's a lot of people out there, sports psychologists, that they talk about flow state. They tell you have to do this and this,
right,
but they're not able to measure it. So this is where the neuroscientific guy, somebody who studied it, comes in, where you're like, okay, look, I can look at your data, I can analyze it. We've developed a certain way to analyze it and to figure it out,
right.
And that's brand new to the table, because in the end, honestly, those clubs, they're businesses, so they want to work on something that's data based. You need to give them the data. Right. Sorry, man, I kind of took off your
What'd you say?
Excitement there, but I cannot call too many names, because it's still up and running and Corona is coming in, so I just 100% fair with it.
No, not at all. Totally understand that, bro. I just wanted you to feel free to flex a little bit if you wanted to, but no problem. No, I'm just fascinated by what you're saying, man. It's amazing. It's amazing.
No, I mean, and that's how I know, that the things that we do, they deserve their place at the highest level, and that's why I contacted you, man, because, I really think that your talent is absolutely unique. There's a lot of people out there that do good freestyles. There's a lot of great people that do amazing albums, of course.
Right.
But I really think the freestyle that you bring to the table is unique, because you don't have that. I feel like you don't have that super too hardcore aggressive freestyle. You have that, honestly, it comes from a talent, you have this crazy associative ability. There's an area in your brain that's very important for associating different words and putting them into context together. And you have, I'd love to put you into a brain scanner and then just check out your brain while you do it, because, man, you'd be amazing. I'm sure your brain area is extremely crazy when it comes to that.
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I appreciate that so much, and I would love to do that. That would be awesome. Let's plan on doing that, man. When this COVID shit is figured out, man. I'm there,
come
man.
Come to Germany.
I would love to come out to Germany, man. Maybe I can get a show set up.
Done.
Yeah, 100%, man. I would love to see what's really going on in the brain. But yeah, that whole associative thing that you're talking about, is huge. And it's something that I practice. And, to anybody in the chat too, or people watching this who have asked, for advice on getting started freestyling or some of the techniques that go into it, one thing that I practice outside of actually rapping, because there's a lot of elements that I practice that don't involve me rapping, they're just other types of brain exercises that are related to my rapping. But certainly free association is one that I really work on, right? As far as taking it's an object, for example, or a word, if here I have a pen, you might look at it and say, well, it's one thing and one thing only. It's obviously a pen, and that's the only idea. But what I try to do is see everything expansively and try to associate like you're talking about. So how many different concepts or words can we pull from this singular object of pen? We have pen, but we also have writing utensil, ink, penmanship, cursive, italics, stories, scripts, screenwriting, out of ink, dry, broken, throwaway, trash, words, vocabulary, mind, expansion, language, speaking, Sanskrit.
Your brain region is being active right now, man. It's going wild.
Right, exactly. And what's interesting too is even just right there.
Just this dude the whole time?
It started kind of slow, and I was sort of intentionally trying to do it, and then at a certain point, I kind of fell into it, you know, and they started to come quickly, and some of those walls kind of come down, and I feel like even just in that little micro example, there's a little bit of entering flow state there, partway into the exercise. Man. Yeah,
for sure. I think that's a brilliant thing, and you know what's crazy is, like, if you think about it, part of what you do is meditation again. When you come back to that,
right,
is you stay in the moment, right? Like right. You learn how to be in the moment. You're not judging. You're just completely in the moment right now. And what you're doing with the pen, man, is the exact same thing, right?
Right.
You're not thinking about like the future or the past or whatever. You're just like looking at it. It's just, I have one here. It's just like an object, and you're just like giving it words. You're giving it words. You're focused on the moment, right?
Yes.
So there's an association right there, you know, which is, I think it's just, that's why freestyle rapping, man. And I told you before, I did it for like a bit.
Yeah.
And I know, like, when I hear your freestyle, it's awesome because you're just in the moment. And when you spread the freestyle to all those listeners out there, it gives you a chance to be in the moment, to not think about your problems. You're in the moment, and that's what flow does, and that's why we always humans strive to be in flow, because it's just a great experience. 100%. That's why we love listening to good albums, man. Yeah, because it takes the pressure away. You're just in the moment.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I really do think that, you know, I'm someone, I talk about this all the time on stream, so they've all heard this a million times, but, you know, I'm somebody who loves to practice, and you know, I'm sort of obsessed with practicing, right? And working on my craft and working on freestyling, doing exercises like what I just did. And I've realized now, you know, I didn't really realize this consciously while I was doing it. I mean, I've been practicing music since I was 7, you know, and I've always sort of loved it. I realize now that I think a big part of the reason why I love it is because I'm able to enter that flow state while I'm practicing. And so it is sort of like very much so a meditation for me, and something that I really look forward to, because it is sort of an escape, you know, from the day to day, and from, you know, the sort of the constant stream of thoughts that are just happening in our brains all the time. When I'm practicing, I get to kind of quiet that down a bit. So
totally.
Yeah. So,
and I think, you know, that's what sports gives us, man. Like, you know, for people like who, like, let's say at the age of 30, stop playing sports, stop playing basketball, on the one hand, they lose the athletic part of it, but they also lose that ability to be in flow. So for all of you out there, like, you should try to find something that gives you the regular ability to experience flow, because it will make you happier.
1,000%.
That's true,
1,000%. And I think that's important too, right? Flow is not just for freestylers or athletes or musicians, right? It's for everyone, right? There are ways in which anybody can enter flow state with whatever it is that they're doing. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. I mean, that's what unites us humans, right? Like, we all have the ability. That's why I'm talking to you as a freestyle rapper, and I'm working with like hurdle sprinters, and I'm working with soccer players. It's because what unites us is the ability to get into that special state, you know?
I love that.
But
that's deep, man. That's true.
I love that. Well, we want to do some freestyling here, but before we do,
for sure,
I just have one last question. So you're a hip hop head, right? And have been listening to hip hop since you were young.
A lot, yeah.
So who are some of your favorites, man?
My number one for sure is Tupac. That's just, I don't get that much influence from as you do, because you live in the States. So I have limited abilities to listen to everything.
Right.
Of course, you know.
Right.
Like, sometimes stuff will arrive over here a month later, or 2 months, even half a year after.
Crazy.
For me, man, Tupac, because that flow that he has, it came from his heart. He was like, when he rapped, you know, it was just like, you know, he would switch up styles, and it would be totally like, his lyrics were completely from the heart. Every little last lyric, you know, he was just doing like himself. And I love that you were rapping on his beats a while ago.
Hell
and
yeah.
And for me, the second guy for sure is Eminem. That's just the way.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you know, I was 14. Eminem, you know, was going big, and, you know, I was dealing with some personal issues, man, like hard issues. And I feel like hip hop and rap like saved my life. You know, it pulled me out of that. It gave me a way to vent and to stay in the moment, just stick in there and be like, look, man, like, just pull through. It'll be good. And I think that's what music gives us, the ability to do that, you know. And that's why those two men and Eminem, I mean, come on, that's just like unbelievable. When he really gets going, or when he got going his best days, man, it was just, there's nobody like him.
No. There's certainly not. No. And as a lyricist and songwriter, I mean, he's one of the greatest to ever do it, you know. I think one thing I always say about Eminem, you know, is I feel like previously, you know, and I'm going to speak generally, right? But previously there were lyrical masters who could do these really intricate multi-syllabic rhyme patterns, right? Before Eminem. And then there were, you know, like storytellers or people who could, you know, write songs, maybe a love song or a song about a breakup or like a song about a family issue or a political issue. But typically those like concept songs weren't quite as lyrically dense and intricate, you know. So there was kind of this. It seemed like there, for the most part, and I'm generalizing, right? But there was kind of this choice to make. Are you going to be like the super lyrical, dense, multi-syllabic style of rapper where it's mostly kind of battle rhymes and flexing about being dope? Or are you going to kind of have a message and tell a story and put your heart into the record, but it's not going to quite be as intricate, right? And then I feel like what made Eminem so special is that he just brought both of those things together to where it's extremely multi-syllabic and densely lyrical, but it's also extremely impactful from a storytelling perspective. And as cliche as it's become, because it's everybody's favorite verse, you know, a prime example of that is palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, there's vomit on the sweater already.
I was just going to mention that, man.
I mean, like, the storytelling, right? And the imagery and putting you in that moment. I mean, you feel nervous when you listen to it, and there's no filler. Then there's no forced lyricism, right? There's no forced rhyming.
Exactly.
But it's so densely multi-syllabic and lyrical while telling that story. Man. So, yeah.
Well, I couldn't say it in the way that you did. You're obviously the expert on that. But what's really funny is, man, like Sing for the Moment or Till I Collapse, you know, when that comes on, like Till I Collapse, you know, like that's something that emotionally gets you like activated to a level that I cannot even explain. Like it just, you know, like it makes me want to explode, like, you know, get out there, all that energy.
Absolutely.
And what's funny is, man, like my first very big meeting with one of the biggest German coaches here at RB Leipzig in Germany, Ralf Rangnick, it was funny because I was on my way there, you know, I had the meeting, I went in, I was all excited. Back then I wasn't like, you know, too conscious of my brain states. Right. And I go in and I'm like, man, okay, look, like I'm too excited. And I'm like to the guy who got me in, I'm like, yo, I need to go to the bathroom quick. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, man, I just got to take a quick piss, you know? Yeah. And he's like, okay. But I went in, I didn't take a piss. I just stood there with the mirror. Right. I looked at myself in the mirror, you know, and all I could, and this is so funny that you mentioned that, man. Yeah. Sometimes life is crazy. Yeah. All I could hear is that song, yo, that you just mentioned. Yeah. He's weak, you know, his moment on his sweater. And I'm like, holy shit, man, like it's ringing in my ears and I cannot even explain it. I didn't even listen to the song for years. Yeah. And it's right there because it's just like, are you going to take that chance right now? Are you going to deliver, man? Or are you just going to like, you know, like just let it be, you know, let your chance get away. So I think I took that chance. So I'm pretty happy about it. But yeah, man, like music, man, that's what it's all about, being in the moment. And Eminem gives you the ability, same Tupac, and you too, man. So honestly, like keep doing what you're doing, man. Hell yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to definitely help you get over here in Germany more. Yes. I'm definitely spreading it to people here, man. So.
Well, we appreciate that so much, man. Thank you, bro. It's an absolute blessing to have you here on the stream. Chat, throw this man some hearts right now.
Yeah, he's cool,
Show him some love right now. We really appreciate you joining us, man. And I think it's time, man. I got to kick a freestyle for you here real quick. So
let's do it.
I'm feeling very inspired by that conversation. I definitely have plenty to go off, but before I dive in, is there any particular word or phrase you wanted to throw me, or do you want me to just kind of summarize what we talked about?
I'm nervous.
Well, our most like the hashtag that we all agreed on is train your brain. That's the number one thing. Is like you have to keep, you know, training your brain and stuff like that. And like, you know, flow obviously. Yes. We talked about and yeah, just man, whatever, man, just kick it, dude. I'm just super excited to hear this.
Let's go.
Super excited, man.
Let's go. All right. Twitch, we're here with Nick, flow state expert, neuroscientist,
Niko,
and founder and CEO of Neuro 11. Train your brain. Let's get it.
Oh no, you can't just have me all calm and then oh boy, he played this instrumental too.
Come on, hey, come on, hey, come on, hey, 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 hey. When I'm spitting, I'm insane with flames. We come together just to train the brain. Come on, we come together just to train the brain. Let's go. When I'm spitting, man, I can't refrain. When I'm spitting, I'm insane with flames. Come on, we come together just to train the brain. Listen, we come together just to, come on. Hey, anytime I rock a flow, I know that it's gonna go great. Meditate before I spit and then I enter flow. flow state. Y'all know that I'm in it, man. I got these rappers shrinking. Gotta find my path, I ain't trying to overthink it. Yeah, but also I can't be too tired. I need my 8 hours of sleep so I can spit that fire. I've had occasions where I'm supposed to be lyrically spawning, but I only slept for 5, so I'm on stage yawning. Nah, gotta move past it. Y'all know it's my purpose. Entering the flow state, I ain't gonna get nervous. Every time I'm running, man, you know I'm about to triumph, kid. Had to tap in with the famous neuroscientist. We gon' make it happen. I send rappers to heaven. And yo, they channeling my brain waves like Neuro 11. Yo, they connected to my brain and they got it on the scan. Every Mack, whenever he's spitting, they turn this man up. Go. When I'm spitting, I'm insane with flames. Come on. Yeah, you know I'm a game, my thing. I came to flame. You rappers, I'm insane. Make frames collapsing every time I'm spitting, cause I train my brain. So let's go. Hey, come off the top. You know my lyrics are vital. Hey, check my signals before I shoot the rifle. Hey, check my signals before I do the free kick. Hey, meditated, y'all know that the sweetness of nectar from meditation enters my mind. I'm thinking back and I remember a time when I had to do some bars next to Kendrick Lamar. It was the most nervous moment in my life thus far. I was shaking, I was sweating, you can tell on the vid. Everyone was nervous for me, they like, you okay, kid? You can do it. A few bars into the flow, I remember the flow state and started to go. Yeah, took me a minute just for me to warm up. Soon as I remembered, my lyrics start to storm up. We about to do it, man, the mic, I'm about to roast this. Shout my homie Nick, he's working with world famous coaches. Yeah, they heard of me, he hit me up purposely. He said I'm about to work with some of the coaches in Germany. We gon' figure out how to get the soccer players in a way where they can really do it. In terms of the slayers, they was meant to be. Eventually, I moved through the centuries. Y'all know when I meditate, go so deep that I levitate. Mack all up in it when I'm spitting, I got mad swag. Bring them back to the hook, y'all know the hashtag. What? When I'm spitting, I'm insane with flames. Hey, we in the session, we gon' train the brain. Come on, yeah, we gon' maintain them things. Hey, meditating, y'all know I'ma train my brain. Let's go. When I spit, I'm insane with flames. Yeah, you know we maintain them things. Let's get it. Hey, we just came to change the brain. H Mack and the doctor, we gon' train your brain. Let's go.
They made a whole
Man,
song.
that was unreal, man. So sick.
Thank you,
So
bro.
good,
Jesus,
bro.
man.
Doesn't
Like,
make sense.
how you combine that, you know, like those different things, man. Like we talk about it and you just put it straight in there, man. Like, unbelievable.
Oh, thank you,
Unbelievable.
bro.
Ridiculous.
Thanks so much.
My
Like,
pleasure.
what an experience, man.
My pleasure, Nick.
Unreal.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Unreal.
man. We really appreciate you coming on stream and sharing some of your knowledge with us. And, you know, I'm somebody who
Beautiful.
cares
Beautiful.
a lot about flow state, and I know the community is really appreciative as well. So one last time, chat, throw this man some hearts. Thank you for joining us, Nick. I'm going to give you some air horns, man.
See you guys.
My boy
And,
Niko.
yeah, everybody keep your eye out for Neuro 11. Do you want to plug your channels? I'm sure you're on Instagram and things like that.
Yeah, just look us up. It's Neuro 11 official.
Cool.
I'm on Twitter too, Neuro Niklas. Check that out. So yeah, I'll be happy to get in touch. You know, even more topics. If it's about flow in the brain, I'm always open. Thanks a lot, Harry, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Positive vibes. Let's go.
My
Keep
pleasure.
going.
My pleasure. And let's definitely be in touch, man. More building on flow state in the future, I can guarantee. And you enjoy the rest of your day. All right, Nick?
Thanks, man. You too, buddy.
All right.
See ya.
Peace.
That was tough.
Okay. Wow.
Gotta train your brain, baby. That was crazy.
Damn. I learned so much. That
Was
was
he gonna do one
fucking
more?
awesome.
No.
Shout out to Nick.
Oh my god. Shouts out, Nick.
It's just amazing, man. Flow state. I mean, these things, right? Like, you go your whole life. You know, I mean, I remember my first recital on violin. I talk about it in my raps a lot. I was 7 years old, cried the whole time, couldn't play. I was so scared. You know, I was just so scared. And it's crazy to imagine that back then, you know, at age 7, there was like a real neurological thing happening in my brain. You know, I wasn't able to enter flow state. Obviously, I was 7, and, you know, I guess a lot of little kids are nervous, but most of them don't meditate. But it's just wild. All the times I've been nervous in the past and just felt like, you know, that was some mysterious force that I would never be able to conquer, or that there could never be, like, you know, a dedicated plan of action to attempt to reduce that feeling in the future. And it turns out that there is, you know, and it's this concept of flow. So pretty awesome. Peace.
That was deep, bro. I gotta stop. I was gonna play it out, but this video was mad long. Holy crap. I mean, he really was speaking some serious things. Like, the human brain is so complex, and you develop it so much without even knowing it a lot of the times. But hopefully y'all like. Shout out to Dr. Niklas Hausler, and shout out to Harry Mack, of course. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.